In this video, you're going to build a website which will allow users to search for cars. So you're going to have a simple database of cars. Well, it's not going to be a real database. It's going to be a simple JavaScript array where you're going to store information about those cars, including different properties of cars like the make, model, year, and so on. And then users will be able to type a URL to search for those cars. So they can add a query like this one to specify properties like the transmission of the car, the minimum price, the maximum price, and so on. So what we're going to do, we're going to break this challenge into small mini challenges, because you're going to need to learn a few more things in order for you to complete this exercise. So first of all, you're going to be introduced to the URL module, which is a built-in module in Node. So this module will help you parse a specific URL and extract different information or different bits of information from it. So it will help you get the query in a more convenient format, the URL as well, and so on. So this will be an opportunity for you to learn how to read the docs of the Node website. So first of all, you will need to go to the documentation of Node and then go to URL. So if you remember, the documentation can be accessed by going to node.js.org, docs, and then choose the version that you want. So I'm going to go to URL. And now I'm going to suggest that you check the URL.parse method. And just see what you can do with it. So I'm going to pause the video here, and I suggest you come back when you went through this. All right, hopefully you had a nice read through this chunk. So what I suggest now is use the URL.parse method and test it on the request.url value, which we retrieved earlier. So this was right there. So using the documentation, you can set the parse query string parameter to false or true. So by default, this is set to false. But if you want to parse the URL, then you will need to set that to true. All right. So I suggest applying this to request.url and add a parameter true and see what you get. So I'm going to pause the video here, and I suggest you come back once you tested that. All right, so hopefully you managed to do that. So let's do this together now. So let's console.log the output of URL.parse of request.url and set the next parameter to true to parse our URL. So you need to make sure that you include or require URL. Okay, so let's start our app. Okay, and let's go to Chrome and let's try something. Okay. So you can see what the parsed URL looks like. So you can see a few things here, like the path name, which is /cars. You can also see a query property. Well, we don't have a query at the moment, but that's something we'll cover in a bit. All right. So basically, we mainly need the path name and the query because we want to show cars if the path name is /cars and we have a query specifying what specific cars our user is after. So let's go back to our code and this time log the query itself and the path. So let's start here again. Okay, so that's our query and that's our path. So I'm gonna try a query, for example, that's one, and you can see our query right there. And this time our full path is this one. Instead of path, we can use something else called path name. And let's see the difference between the path and path name. So let's print both. So the path will give you the full path including the query, while the path name will just give you whatever is before the query. All right, now here comes your next challenge. So just before the end of the body tag, you will need to check if we are dealing with a car search, meaning that you're going to check if the path name is cars or /cars. And then if that's the case, you're going to print all the cars corresponding to the query, including their details and a picture of the car. So I suggest storing the path name and query inside a variable. So for example, I'm going to set the query variable to this. And the path name to that. Okay, and let's log the query and the path name. So just to give you a hand, so the condition here is going to be if path name equals /cars. All right. And here you will need to filter the array cars using a function which you will create. So here goes your function. And then the output of the filter method, which will be an array of cars, you can apply to it a for each, like that. And then inside the for each, you run your code to print the corresponding cars. So before pausing the video, I'm just going to print here the different parameters or possible parameters inside the query. So you're going to have the make, model, year, transmission, min price, and max price. Okay, so I'm going to pause the video now and I'm going to let you do this on your own. And then once you're done, you can come back to compare your findings with whatever we're going to be doing together.